Hi, I hope you're doing well. This is my first video that I've made since I hit 10,000 subscribers. So before we do anything, I want to say thank you so much. I cannot believe that many people want to hear me talk about knitting. It means so much to me. So thank you, it's a huge milestone for me. But while you want to hear about me knitting, I'm gonna keep talking. And today I want to talk about my 2025 knitting mood board. This is going to be a bit different than my knitting plans videos. My planning videos tend to be quite concrete and I've already picked out like a certain pattern that I want to knit within the next 3 months and maybe even the yarn for it. Whereas this is a lot more up in the air, going through my saves on Instagram, going through my Pinterest. I love saving pictures on Instagram that inspire me, and I've been through everything that I've liked the look of recently and I've noticed certain trends. And yeah, I love being part of the Instagram knitting community. There are some really creative and inspirational designers out there that are doing things with knitting that like I wouldn't even think of. And I'm just in awe of them. And as someone that really prefers to like follow a pattern and recreate something that they like the look of rather than come up with their own original ideas, this sort of thing is really useful for me. So the first thing that I like the look of, and I'm gonna say it's trendy because I've seen a few people on Instagram make this, are mittens inspired by Maison Margiela Tabi shoes. So they kind of have a bit of a hoof sort of thing going on, and as with the Tabi shoes, I think there's a lot of people that really don't like how this looks, but I think it's cool. So you basically have a mitten for your last 3 fingers, and then you have a separate glove part for each of your index finger and thumb. The first person that I saw make a pair of these mittens is Tuva Sandok on Instagram. She's an amazing knitting influencer. But I don't think she's released a pattern herself, so I googled it and there are like a few different patterns available. It's not something I'm going to be making while we're still in this like cold winter period, just because I've got so much on. But if I still like the look of these come September, October, I'll be making myself a pair of mittens in this style for sure. The next thing that I really like the look of, and this is something that I wasn't expecting from myself, are really slouchy cable knit sweaters. Now, I've never done cabling in knitwear, and it's partly because I've only been knitting for a year, but it's also partly because I don't love the look of cable sweaters for me. I wouldn't buy one in a store. I haven't found any pattern before that like really called out my name, and so I've just avoided doing any sort of textured sweater knit for a fear of just not wearing it. But then I saw this one picture, and it's a picture of the Attention Deficit jumper by Jamie Creates, and it made me realise that is exactly what I want in a textured sweater. I'm not sure if it actually contains cabling, but it's definitely got some texture to it. And from looking at this sweater and then looking at some other textured sweaters, I've realised that what I want in a cable knit is for the texture to be going horizontally instead of vertically. So normally you're used to like cables going up and down the jumper. I don't like that. I just know it's not going to look good on my body. I know I'm not going to love it. I want my sweaters to always be a little bit cropped, and it seems like cable sweaters tend to sit on the hip. I'm sure that you could crop it, but something about the horizontal lines just look so much more casual and cozy. And I also really love in this jumper how wide it is. Like, it's got a really big wide body to it. I think it's a drop shoulder. It's probably going to take the entire year to knit, to be honest, to make something that big with texture in it, but I think the final fit is beautiful and I would love to own one of those, and I would buy something like this if I saw it in a shop. So learning to cable is on the list on the mood board. I think this year I do want to try and throw in some projects that will advance my skill set with knitting, and I think this will be a great one. On the topic of sweaters, actually, I have been saving a lot of really basic sweaters, and I've been thinking about the type of fit that I want my sweaters to have. And what I seem to be gravitating towards, and I touched on this with the cable sweater, is drop shoulders and wide bodies. I've looked at all the sweaters that I own, especially the store-bought sweaters that I reach for, and they all have drop or saddle shoulders. and I think that I should be prioritizing that in my knitting and stopping doing raglands. I made a good few raglan sweaters last year, and I want to scale that down this year and try different constructions and make at least 1 or 2 basic sweaters that I can wear every single day throughout autumn, winter, in like basic colors with a nice yarn. There's a few designers that have put out really beautiful, simple garments, and when I was learning to knit, I didn't really appreciate how beautiful they were because I just saw something that was quite basic looking. But now that I know a bit more and I can look into the construction, compare that to the sweaters that I've made before, I would love to make a really, really beautiful basic sweater with like a really expensive yarn and just have that in my wardrobe. I have also been saving a lot of pictures of close-fitting long sleeve tops with nice details to them. I think this is kind of high street trend inspired because I've seen in the shops there's quite a few tops that have like this asymmetric slit across the chest with then some buttons that do it up, and I've been seeing a few patterns come out that look a bit similar to that. But it's the kind of trend that I'm genuinely quite interested in. I wear a lot of close-fitting tops, especially through spring and autumn. I'll wear a close-fitting long sleeve top with a light jacket over the top, and that'll keep me warm. So it would be something that I would actually use a lot in my wardrobe. I would just need to be really careful with the yarn that I use for it and just make sure it's not itchy, maybe not even make it out of wool, because I had a few mishaps last year and I fully plan to learn my lesson from that. I've noticed there are some beautiful scoop knit tops. There's one that I saw that had a little keyhole detail with a bow in the front. There are a few designers I've seen doing really beautiful subtle colour work, and they remind me of something like the brand Peachy Den or other similar independent brands would put out. I also love the inclusion of zippers into these tight fitting tops and buttons as well. There's one pattern that I keep getting showed on my Instagram Explore page again and again. It's called the Silhouette Top by Lucas Strick, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's like this close-fitting high neck top. I think you can make it long sleeve or short sleeved, and it's got these little pearl buttons down the front. It's so gorgeous. It looks so expensive. And I think these sort of tops, because they have so much interesting detail texturally, you can kind of go more conservative with your color if you want. So for example, that silhouette top, I keep seeing it in like an off-white. I think I've seen a brown version, but because the detailing is so beautiful, it still looks interesting and not like a basic, which is what I really look for in my items of clothing. I want them to be simple, but to just have like a little bit of a twist to them, because if they become too much of a statement piece, that's when I really struggle to style it and wear it a lot less, and I'm really trying to avoid that this year. So don't be surprised if you start seeing me make a bunch of white and grey and brown and black tops with cute little interesting details. I'm really liking that. Another thing that's been coming up a lot for me are crocheted tote bags. I really want one of them. Bags are the sort of thing that I initially didn't think that I wanted to make through knitting or crochet, but I keep being proven wrong. I keep seeing really nice casual bags that could actually hold a lot, and I think if you choose the right yarn and if you make it in crochet and maybe even add a lining, it could actually be substantial enough to hold up to everyday wear, because I think if you just knitted a bag, that would stretch unless it was tiny and didn't hold anything in it. I think that'd be a really good summer project, just something to use to go to like park or the beach. And another summer project that I really haven't put any thought into, but I know I liked the look of last year, were those striped crochet micro shorts. I saw a lot of those on my Instagram Explore feed, and at the time I liked the look of them and I kind of wanted to make some, but I just had no idea what colour I wanted them to be. But now I am fully on my neutral hype. I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to maybe add in some red because I'm as comfortable with red as I am with neutrals. So maybe some red and white striped crochet micro shorts with a tiny little crochet top to match. I think that's in my future. On like a beach, yeah. In the same realm as the nice long sleeved tops that I've been pinning, I've also been pinning a lot of short sleeved and sleeveless cami tops. I tried to make a few of these last summer and it didn't really work because I didn't know what I was doing with choosing my yarn, and I ended up making some wool garments that were too thick, too itchy, just wouldn't work. And now that I kind of know what I know, I'm more picky with the yarns that I would use to make these cami tops. One pattern that keeps coming up for me is the 99 sequins top by Spectacle Strick, and it's literally just like a bandeau top, but they've incorporated some sequin yarn into it, and I don't think that's for me because sequin yarn sounds itchy, but I don't know, maybe there's another way that I can incorporate playing with texture. I've seen an Instagrammer called Loopy Studio who makes pieces out of lycra yarn, and I would like to explore more fun yarns to make little tops with, obviously within the confines of my sensitive skin and the fact I'll be wearing it in summer when it's warm. Last thing I want to talk about are hood scarves. These have been so trendy this winter. I've seen so many TikToks of people showing off their hood scarves, and there's so many patterns available. I've seen Petite Knits released the Sophie hood, and there's so many more as well. I think that this is the perfect headwear for me. I wear beanies when I have to. I'm not a balaclava person, I'm not a bonnet person really, but I could be a hood person because you could just put it down, wear it as a scarf. It looks so warm. Again, I don't think I have the time to knit this winter, but if I'm still liking the look of them come September or October, that's going to be pretty high on my to knit list because they look really practical as well as nice and warm. And I'm interested to see if this trend goes into the mainstream, if we start seeing fast fashion companies put out the same thing. Or to be fair, I haven't been in the shops in months, so maybe they already have. I don't know very much at all. And yeah, that's all I've got to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know if you've spotted any trends in the hand knitting community and whether you love or hate them. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!